Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Nick, your host of On the Scene with Martini. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget, you are the scene. Yo, what's up, guys? It's Nick, On the Scene with Martini. Today I got Andrew from Combust, Downfall, Steamroll, Beg to Differ. How you doing, Andrew?
Yo, what's good?
Appreciate you so much for coming through. Yeah, I know you guys been busy, been touring basically every single country and continent this year. Yeah,
Yeah, it's still more to go, but yeah,
nice little break.
yeah, we
Just,
getting it in though.
just kind of like how I always start, just like how you got into music as a whole, and
hmm
then we'll kind of go from there and jump into like your hardcore career and stuff.
Sounds good. Uh, yeah, where should we start? You tell me.
Like, what was like the first album that like you remember listening to that you were like, okay, this is I like music. Like for me, it was Fleetwood Mac and the Eagles, and I don't know, that was just like, okay, I'm gonna be a music guy my whole life.
Yeah, I think it's like three come to mind that kind of were like all in the same time frame, I think, and it was a good Charlotte record, uh the Eminem show, and Limp Bizkit, hot dog flavor water.
Were you like exposed? Or were you just did you have like an older brother or like a sibling or someone that kind of like guided you? Because I feel like that's like you're being
Well,
exposed to like punk and emo pretty early.
yeah, I mean, I have an older brother, but he was never really a music guy. He was my older brother's more of a he was more of the intellectual type. He would just like stay at home,
Hmm.
chill, be in the books. But I don't know what like started me on the path of I mean like I've said in other podcasts, I'm sure. I mean Tony Hawk Pro Skater soundtrack was a catalyst for sure. But then like I remember I liked Mad TV a lot. And yeah, I remember seeing Good Charlotte on Mad TV. And then I asked my mom for a Good Charlotte CD. But I mean, I think like again, around the same time I was like aware of what Eminem and Limp Bizkit was, and I don't know, I was just like drawn to more aggressive music. I don't know. So yeah,
Was
I
there like
guess.
a hardcore record or like band that were local to you? Because you're New York based. Obviously, like it's like the king of hardcore in my like in my eyes. Was there one that drew you in quick?
Um, so I'm from Staten Island, which
Okay.
is different from being in like Manhattan or Brooklyn, obviously. When I was a kid, we didn't like we had a different kind of scene,
Mm-hmm.
but when I was, starting to get into like metal and I was playing in bands and stuff, there was a band that was a hardcore punk band that I guess like this band I would go on to play bass for, but there was a band Kids Carry Germs,
Mm-hmm.
and I discovered them like as I was getting into heavier music, I'd say. So it was and then I don't know, it was all like alignment because then I was getting into hardcore and then I started going to more shows in like my local scene because everything was kind of mixed at the time. Like my first metal band played with the drummer of Combust's first punk band
Over.
called Balls, and the Lucky Fucks, and they played Lemoore with the Staten Island Lemoore, obviously not the famous one, but
Yeah.
I played my first show with those bands, and we were a three-piece metal band, but they were punk bands. So, everything just kind of, like I said, like aligned at the same time. And at this time, I was also getting into hardcore. So, yeah, I would
Playing
say, yeah, local band would be Kids Carry Germs, I guess.
playing in playing bass, right? Like, what was like that kind of moment that you transitioned to being like, okay, this I actually want to be a frontman, and like you kind of pivoted genres there from a metal to more hardcore sounding.
Yeah, so bass was the first thing I picked up, but and that was to be because I never thought I'd be the singer guy in this band that I was gonna start when I was in middle school. But then we lost the guy who was gonna be the original singer. And then I was like, oh, here's the thing, like I was a very charismatic kid. So I was
Mhm.
like, yeah, I could sing, fuck it. And so I think I always wanted to be a front man secretly, but like bass is just something that I picked up and like found the natural like I don't know, I felt naturally drawn to bass. I don't know why. I think it was because of Steve Harris from Iron Maiden. But yeah, and then I was doing bass and vocals at the same time. And then eventually as the band like became a full band, I was like, I'm gonna just front the band. So yeah.
Do you ever miss like playing bass and stuff? Com-
Well, I mean, luckily I've gotten to with a bunch of bands even when I was fronting bands. So I mean,
mhm.
I play bass in Steamroll now. So
Yeah.
um I love playing bass. Like I said, first thing I ever picked up, so I'll always love playing bass for sure.
Do you feel like you have like a different approach like going into a show when you're like as a steamroll, like when you're in steamroll, right, playing bass
Mhm.
compared to when you're fronting for Combust?
Um uh
Just in terms like you have like a very like when I saw you guys, it was with Judge and Earth Crisis, and like you have a very like I don't want to use the word aggressive, but aggressive style. Like you want everyone involved. Like, but as a
yeah.
front man, you can kind of do that. Do you ever find yourself as a bass player trying to like get more people involved, like because that's like your thing?
I mean, yeah, but only like naturally just because like I can't play a show without feeling the energy, you know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
I think it's sometimes it's cooler for me when I'm like, oh, I don't have to worry about killing myself on this fucking stage, like because I'm not the most in shape guy, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like yelling for 25 minutes straight and moving the whole time is like, woo, but like bass, I'm just like I could just bug out and really like enjoy it.
Hmm.
Like not more, but like enjoy it in a different way. But yeah, I mean, I think naturally I'm just like my stage presence as a bass player is just I'm just feeling it.
Yeah.
So, it's just the energy.
What kind of led you to like the formation of Combust? Because you guys started putting out music, I believe it was what, 2017, 2018.
The demo was yeah, tail end of 2017.
So like what was like the formation of going into Combust, and has it been what you expected it to be from the start?
I mean, going into doing Combust, it was like I just really want to make a demo that sounded like Killing Time and Cro-Mags and just a straight up New York hardcore band. But at the time, uh, I wasn't trying to be in a band that. I mean, you when you start a band, you hope that people fuck with it at the minimum, and you can play
Hmm.
some cool shows in New York City. I mean that was another thing for it. It was like we wanted to be a band that New York City could have finally. Like, there weren't really bands in New York, so we were just like really adamant about like, yo, we want to build up our scene again. And like this demo could be sick and this is what we always wanted to do for a band. And so when we did it and I had a job, I had a full-time job. I was just starting a full-time job and for
Hmm.
like the first time in my life, like an actual career. So definitely wasn't planning on anything crazy happening with the band. I mean, again, like we were just like, yeah, we could just play shows on the weekend at the most and just, put out some cool shit. And then I definitely wasn't gonna expect this to be a band that took me to Japan and Australia and we got to do awesome shit all the time and the shows have been great and it's like it's kind of otherworldly to think about right now.
What was your first like tour that you were on? like a bill with like a band that you grew up with or kind of shaped the way that you like look at hardcore?
The first time ever,
Mm-hmm. Does well with Combust, I
or with
guess.
Combust.
With Combust, yeah.
Well, funny enough, our first show ever was with the Cro-Mags.
Oh, really?
So yeah, our first show was with the Cro-Mags and a couple other bands. I think Line of Scrimmage played. It was at the Kingsland in Brooklyn, and yeah, like it was it's kind of funny, like just off rip playing with Cro-Mags. So that was kind of sick. Uh, I mean, at this point, we've gotten to play with every band that we've looked up to, like in the hardcore world and
Hmm.
even beyond a little bit. And like next year we get to play like a bunch of festivals with where like Iron Maiden and Megadeth are playing. I mean, obviously we're not playing on the same stages as them. Like you know how those festivals
Yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah.
But
But it's so
to
cool
even
though to be
see,
on.
yeah, to even see a band that I'm in's name on the same flyer as that is like me from fucking seventh grade would be like, what the fuck? So it's yeah, it's cool as fuck, man. Yeah, it's cool.
When you're at a festival, do you feel like you have to do anything different to get the crowd engaged? Just because, like, obviously you have the people camping there for hours, depending on like the way it's set up, and
Yeah.
then like they're not really moving as much compared to like at a show in, Philly, New York, where people are like killing each other.
Yeah, like you mean like those really big festivals?
Yeah,
Well, we haven't I'm trying to think if we played anything like that. Like I think we have played something like that. Not on as big of a scale as the ones that we're gonna play next year,
hmm
but yeah, I mean like you have to treat it like even on the Terror tour that we did in Europe, where it was like, more like bigger stages to people who don't know us. It's like you gotta be like you're not just a hardcore band anymore. Now you gotta be like a borderline performer, like to get people to rock with your shit even sometimes. It's like you gotta work the crowd, you know what I mean? Like so yeah, it's like sometimes it's a struggle, sometimes it's cool and like you can see that you winning them over mid set, which is cool, you know?
yeah.
But it's definitely a whole different world sometimes. I mean, definitely opposed to a hardcore show or a hardcore fest, and then you get the bigger shit.
Would you say that because one of my favorite and we'll touch more into this, but one of my favorite clips of you is when you joined Vogel at Sound and Fury. Uh was that like a frontman that kind of like shaped the way that you are also a frontman? Like was that like kind of like I don't want to say like a role model, but you know what I mean? Like someone that you
Wait,
kind of
I'm sorry, I missed you. Joined who at Sound and Fury?
Scott Vogel.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Was it
mean,
was that like a guy that like you kind of like looked up to like when you were kind of starting out just in terms of like how you wanted to approach the stage and stuff?
oh yeah, of course. I mean, like Terror was a pivotal band when I was a kid. I mean, like that's one of those bands where I have memories of listening to Always the Hard Way for the first time when I was in high school, and like it was in on my Walkman, and like I remember seeing them at Webster Hall, and there was like the Keepers of the Faith promo poster like on like taped to the wall Webster Hall, and I ripped it down and I literally have it framed on my wall right now, like from so it's like 2009 or 10 or something like that.
Mm,
But yeah, I mean when I was a kid, like Terror was the band. I mean for everyone in hardcore. I mean like especially when Keepers of the Faith was coming out, I was like this is like the hardcore moment for hardcore right now. So yeah, I mean Vogel was someone who I definitely idolized as a frontman, and now like we get to do so much shit with them, and I get to call him a homie, and like that's what's cool
yeah.
about hardcore in general, right? It's like now like the people that you looked up to when you were a kid are like dudes that you could just kick it with. It's cool, man. Yeah, it's special.
Did you like kind of prep going into that at all? Like was that like a different kind of nervous for you? Because like obviously like everyone in some capacity has some type of like nerves going into a show. Going into like going with Vogel.
Oh, I mean, at that point for Sound and Fury, I've done that spot
Hmm.
like in that song like Well, we did. I did it 40 days straight on the Europe tour, and then
Oh,
like,
you went out every time?
yeah,
Oh,
I
okay,
did
gotcha,
every
gotcha.
night. I didn't miss a terror set one night of that tour, and the tour was like 40 days. So, I mean, yeah. So like for over like a year or so, I've been doing that part, and it's just fucking fun as hell every
Yeah.
time. It's like, yeah, it's like one of my favorite. I have Stick Tight tattooed on me, so yeah, it's cool as fuck.
Do you was that one of your longest tours then? 40 days?
With Combust, yeah, that was one of our longer tours. My old band would do like 50 to 60-day US tours, like dumbasses, and then Combust did like a 40-day plus full US in like 2022 when Another Life dropped.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's up there, like one of the longest tours for Combust for sure.
Do you feel like you can kind of gauge it a little bit better just in terms of like I I presume you guys don't have like do you guys have a manager or anything, or are you guys kind of doing it all yourself?
No, it's essentially me for the most part handling that kind of shit.
Did you find it easier or harder? Like just because like now it's like easier because you have that experience, but also harder because you're going to bigger cities and playing more shows and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, as Combust gets busier and we want to stay busy and like we get more offers for shit, obviously it's like when you're the guy at the head of a lot of it, it's definitely a lot to keep track of. Like literally sometimes I'll fucking forget about certain things. I just had to email someone who where we confirmed the show and I completely forgot that we are doing another tour, so stuff like that, like it definitely is a little bit not too much to handle, but sometimes I'm like, ah, fuck, this is like, I think people don't realize that when you're basically a full-time touring band, which I mean, at this point, Combust is without it being any of our careers, really.
Hmm.
We're like kind of a step away from that. But
Yeah.
like a lot of people don't realize it's almost like I give mad respect to booking agents and managers who handle big bands because like shit is a lot.
Yeah.
A lot to do. Sometimes I'm like, yo, I can't do anything today because I need to settle like I'm sending out 10 emails and I have to situate like all the merch orders and then I'm on top of it, I book the tours on top of it all, you know what I mean? So it's a lot. It definitely is a lot, but it's nothing I can't handle at the
Yeah.
end, you know?
I always liked your guys' merch. Like obviously like you got a lot of New York baseball teams, which I can like avoid that, but
Yeah.
do you do a lot of like the design work and stuff? Because I feel like you always have like a good sense of style, either when it's on the stage or just wherever.
I appreciate that. Yeah, no, I mean a lot of it is like I'll usually just give an idea to whoever's like, drawing. If it's an illustration, if
Hmm.
we're like I'm asking someone. We have like a couple people we go to mainly at this point. A lot of the graphic design shit is our guitar player Alex,
Okay.
and he's like mad nice with it. So it's just me and him kind of brainstorming on what would look best for shit most of the time. But yeah.
Is there something that you, as a fan of the scene, also like kind of collect? Like that's a part. Like I like getting picks from bands and
Mhm.
stuff, and I mean like I try to get t-shirts, but like I'm at this point, I'm kind of like t-shirt out. Like I have so many t-shirts, man.
Oh, trust me, I know, man. Actually today I was gonna go through like my whole collection of band shirts because I have like right here I have all the main stuff I wear and then like there's a closet of three plus like fucking storage bins of just band shirts. Like
Hmm.
I'm moving out eventually in a couple months, so like I need to purge everything. But as far as I'm definitely a shirt guy. Like I do have a lot of vintage shit. I used to try to when I first started going to shows, my cousin was like, "You should save all the ticket stubs,"
Hmm.
because that was the time to still ticket stubs. So I
Yeah.
have a shit ton of those. I try to get. I have a bunch of set lists. I have a bunch of like. I kind of stopped doing that at like when I reached like my mid 20s, unfortunately, but I do have like folders and stacks of like little handbills and like little flyers of shows I've been to or set lists and like it's a lot for sure. I
Mhm.
have a lot from when I was like a teenager to my mid 20s for sure.
Was that like a thing that like when I go to a show and I get something like that, it's obviously like very memorable. Is
Mhm.
that like was that just kind of like a way for you to like not document, but just like remember that show? Like, did you go to shows with a lot of different people, or was it kind of
Um,
just like you were soloing a lot of stuff?
when I was a kid, it was mainly like the same two friends that would always go to shows with me, and
Hmm.
they were in the like the band that I was in. Um, I don't like I think again from when I first started going to shows with my cousin, he was like, you should save ticket stubs. I think that was the kind of like same line of thinking
Hmm.
when I was thinking about getting flyers or handbills or set lists where I was just like, this will be a cool memory to look back on. And it is, I got like sometimes if I'm cleaning stuff around and then I stumble upon that folder or those folders that I have and like I get to just look at it and just like look back on some cool memories, you know what I mean? I think it's dope. I think everyone should do that if I mean, unless, you're not a psychopath about hardcore music, which is fine.
Do you
But
have that's funny that you say that because like I feel like everyone that isn't like a lot of my I grew up in Philly, but I live in like a rural area in Pennsylvania now. So like I live near Reading, right by like
mhm.
not right by it, but like by Club Reverb. I don't know if you're familiar, but they do like the Keystone Jam. Sorry, my connection got cut out. But was
Yeah, I was about to say cutting out.
sorry. I'm just gonna pause for a second.
Yeah, you good, bro.
Like being in like Philly growing up and not like being in like a rural area, like people kind of view me as a psychopath, and I think people like don't get it all the time. They're
Yeah.
like they're like, how many shows or concerts do you go to a month? And I'm like, six. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, there's always shit going on.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, especially in Philly, yeah.
yeah, do you like what was your family like always like involved in like your music scene at all? Or was that kind of like a thing that you had to like introduce them to?
I mean, just my cousin. I mean, my cousin is older than me, and
Hmm.
that's who got me into hardcore, but no one in my family other than him was into music in that way, shape, or form. So, I mean, just like this became a very my thing in my family. And yeah, I mean, and it came with a lot of pushback and a lot of a lot of problems and fights and
Yeah.
like I mean, my mother was a very classic kind of, old-fashioned kind of woman, So she was like go to school, go to college, get a job type vibe. So I was always the troublemaker. And then it just got worse when I started going to shows all the time. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, that's where I found my love, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it was just constant. Like when I found shows and playing music, that was just my life from then on out for sure.
Did you like have a moment where you were like, okay, maybe I need to step away. I need to go into a career or kind of start that, even if it's not just from pushback from your mom
Yeah.
or whoever in your life, just kind of like personal reflection or anything.
Well, I mean, when my first band was touring all the time, I had a band called Vice, and we were on tour for specifically only in the US, like for 6 to 8 months out of the year, we would just tour,
Mm-hmm.
tour, and like no one gave a fuck. And when you reach your 20s, when you're like going through a lot of existential shit, for sure, you're like, what the fuck am I doing? And then, but like I never questioned how much I loved it all, so I was just like, I'm gonna keep going.
Hmm.
Like yeah, I'm broke and like life sucks when I'm home, but like I'm just gonna keep going because like this is all I care about. So there was that, but then when that all like fell apart, and then I did have the thought process of like maybe it's time to get a career, and I did,
Hmm.
and I did that for like 5 or 6 some years. Uh, yeah, I mean, it was not what I really wanted. I don't think anyone wants like if you unless you find passion in a career,
Yeah.
right? A career is not something that you're looking forward to. It's just something that you need to
Yeah.
live. So, driving trucks wasn't my passion. You know what I mean? Like I didn't get enjoyment out of going to work every day at fucking 5 a.m. So once I was let go from that job and then Combust started to take off, it was like I tried that, but like even when I had my career, it wasn't like this is a step away from music because I was in music the whole time. It was more like how can I have a career and still get the most out of the music stuff while I have the career? Like it's funny, I was talking to a bass player while we were in Japan, and we were just talking about because he has a legitimate job and he's trying to be remote so we could do more with the band. But we were just talking like I was like, isn't it funny how every job that we've gotten or we were about to get when you're like, a lifer,
Hmm.
like it's the first thought in your head is, okay, so how is this gonna work where I can be at shows the most amount of time while still keeping my job? Like I feel like that's
Yeah.
what every hardcore kid who loves this shit is like when they're about to get a job, they're like, okay, so how's this gonna pan out if I need to get off work for a tour or if I need to like go to a show on a Thursday, like I need to make sure I can be out of work at this time so I can make it to the show. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
shit like that. So yeah, no, there was never a point where I was like, nah, I need to step away from this.
I gotcha. Fast forward time talking about 2025, you guys obviously put out Belly of the Beast, which like did great. What what was it like with like the creation of Belly of the Beast compared to like Another Life and like your earlier EPs? Was there like a different approach? And like, do you guys feel like you sounded tighter, or was it more like
Hmm.
you had to put out, not had to, but you wanted to put out a record and it had to sound like this? I'm just curious, like your thoughts of like
Hmm.
how everything went into it.
Uh, I mean, it was definitely different from Another Life because Another Life was like, since it was our first LP, and I was really, really hung up on like on the record sounding a certain way, and then Connor Jones from a bunch of different bands ended up helping me write a lot of shit for it, and which was cool. It was like a cool process. I've never had someone from like outside the band help me write a song, so that was cool. But Belly of the Beast was like now was even more daunting because it was like, all right, yeah, like people liked Another Life, so that was cool. And we got to do a lot of cool shit off Another Life, and then that's when we started touring a lot. So then I was like, for Belly of the Beast, it's it's scary for a band. I feel for a hardcore band to make a second LP because that's when it's always like, I mean, the sophomore slump thing is real, bro.
Yeah,
Like hardcore is so fickle, bro. Where kids will just be like, eh, the first LP was cool. I don't like this thing,
yeah.
so I don't care about this band anymore. Which is
Or
like,
or just play the first LP and then like you're not really growing
yeah,
musically, and like obviously like this is for you too, like
yeah, of
having your
course,
catalog and discography and stuff.
yeah, of course. So it's like, I feel like anyone who makes music is like the back of their mind is like, oh well, I hope this doesn't fucking bomb.
Yeah.
But this time around, I mean, it was funny because I think at FYA, Justice approached me and he was like, "Yo, y'all ever want to like, jam some shit out together and like work on some ideas? Let me know." I was like, "Yeah, it'd be fucking sick." Because I mean, that's like another thing where it's like someone whose band I fucking admired since I was like in high school. So getting a fresh set of eyes on some songs that we wrote from someone who is a dope songwriter is like always
Hmm.
cool. You know what I mean? So we had a couple songs already written at the time, and then we kind of just like fine tuned them and then like sent them to Justice, and then we ended up going to his house in Baltimore and like jamming out some shit in his basement, and that part was cool. Then it became like after a couple of those songs, like there was a couple songs that we kind of like collabed on, and then after that it was more like strictly the band
Hmm.
doing it, which for the first time, like again, doing an LP by ourselves is like, it's a little intimidating. So because you want it to be perfect,
Yeah.
and I'm sorry I'm rambling,
No, no,
but
go for it. Go for it.
um but yeah, so and then it became a lot about just getting in the studio as much as we could, and then like going to Peter's house, the guitar player, and like pre-proing shit on his computer, and like just getting every ounce that we could out of like every riff or every idea, and like just hoping it was perfect. And then I think on this record we do sound like it's like night and day. Like I love Another Life.
Hmm.
I think the record's great, but Belly of the Beast is like we sound like a fucking band. I don't
Yeah.
know. Like I think it's a huge step up in my opinion. Everyone on the record playing is also like they sound leagues better on this record than the last. So,
Was there anyone else that like you kind of reached out to? Like you were talking about like sophomore slump and like obviously that was probably a thought going into this record
mhm.
that like you wanted to like lay eyes on? Or was it I mean Justice obviously
Well,
is a great person to have
yeah,
like, eyes laid on. I mean he's part of some of the biggest bands in our scene, period.
yeah, 100%. Uh, well, I'm punishing as fuck with my friends who write me. Like I'm lucky enough to be surrounded by the people in Combust, and I'm lucky enough to have friends who make awesome music in other bands. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So that I respect and like I want their opinion on shit because like I'm still fairly new to being a guitar player who writes songs. Like Combust is the first thing that I've ever done that for. So I don't have any shame in hitting someone up and being like, "Yo, where do you think this could be, better, or like how do you feel about this?" Like I definitely have hit up Mike Shaw about like a couple songs on the record, just to, like to be like, "Hey, where do you think I can go with this?" Or like, "Where like do you think this is a cool part?" Or like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Little minor stuff. Or like I play drums in a band, Back to Differ, and I hit up the guitar player of that band. He plays in Frothing Mad as well. Like he's a mega good guitar player. I think he understands New York hardcore and how it should be written. So I've asked him. Uh, you know, Connor Jones again. I probably reached out to for like a track or two. Like just just like sending demos and being like, "Yo, what do you think?" Like typical shit.
Yeah.
But
Was there anything that you recall that like Justice said to you that like made a song completely change or like the way that you viewed it or maybe like a little tweak that you
mhm.
did to a song?
There's a lot of things I remember from from the like it was so funny because I didn't know him that well at the
Hmm.
time. Like I didn't never hung out with him outside of seeing him at a show. So like it was just funny getting to know him like through just being in a band and like showing him songs. But he had a lot of memorable quotes for me for sure. Um I think one thing that stands out songwriting wise is um the way that he would like approach me writing vocals over it, because he gave me the idea of writing a song starting out with vocals, which is something I've like never done in my life, or like an idea of how a vocal pattern would go and then writing like music to it essentially, which
Hmm.
again I'm always like I need the riffs and then I can write to it.
Yeah.
That was
Adjust
a
to there.
different, yeah, that was a different approach. But as far as like actual parts, he helped do like one of the coolest parts on the record, in my opinion. The very end of Belly of the Beast, the da, 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 da,
Hmm.
da, 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 like we had the whole song and we brought it to him, like for the most part. And then he was like, "Yo, at the end, you got to do a part where it's like the drums are following the vocals, and it's like da 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 da." And so that and then that became like one of my favorite parts in the whole record. So yeah, that would be a huge addition for sure.
Is there a scene that you, besides New York, obviously, that like you listen to a ton that like might have had like any influence, like a Baltimore scene, Philly scene, or like even like any of the West Coast guys?
Shit.
Sorry, I'm just asking like
Yeah,
random
no,
stuff.
it's a good question. There's some there's some Boston in that for sure.
hmm
Like, are you saying like in general, like bands from any time frame?
Yeah,
Or,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah, I'd say there's some Boston stuff sprinkled in that record. There's some, I guess, Connecticut. You got some Hate Breed in there, I'm
yeah.
sure. I mean, a lot of it, like the majority of it, is like 95% New York hardcore. There's a lot of metal in it for sure. There's like, metal influence. Yeah.
Was there any like challenges like putting out the record or like with your label or anything? Like, was there any ever pushback, or is it kind of just like whatever you guys need to put out, you put out?
No, I mean, this was our first thing with Triple B,
Okay.
and we we were stoked as hell to be doing it with him. We wanted another life. Well, not I shouldn't say wanted, but we were thinking about another life being on Triple B, but then Connor and Cash only popped up, so it was like it just made sense because homies, and we were
Yeah.
more than glad to be a part of something dope that our homies were doing. But it was funny because Sam was like, "Dude, I wanted to put out the Combust LP." I was like, "All right, I didn't know." So we were like, "All right, let's do the next one then." So yeah,
Was
so
that
that
a
was
label
awesome.
that you kind of always like not looked up to, but like obviously like I feel like all of us listen to a ton of shit on Triple B.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Triple B is I feel like I got into hardcore around 2006, 2007. It's kind of like right in your face immediately.
hmm
I mean, so many bands that I got into when I was in high school were all on Triple B. All my favorite bands at one point were Triple B bands. So yeah, 100%.
How do you feel like Combust like presents itself either like sonically in person or like through like streaming and stuff compared to like other bands? Like what like makes what do you do that makes you feel like you guys stand out essentially?
Shit, I don't know. I mean, it's nothing that I feel consciously that we do. I mean,
hmm I mean that's a valid answer too.
if
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I mean, if I had to make like a guess as to what sets us apart from other shit is that we're just like authentically a New York hardcore band, and I feel like that. I mean, there's a lot of bands that are pulling from that sound now. I mean, a lot of new bands for sure that like, may not be on everyone's radar because they only have a demo or something like that. And like, like there's a lot of cool bands coming out right now that are doing that.
hmm
But uh I don't know, I just think that we just grind a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that there aren't a lot of bands who are, so to speak, like grinding or like getting on the fest that have the sound that we have. So I think maybe that's like the difference that you might see from other bands.
What that was kind of like the answer
Yeah.
that I was assuming was like the festivals because like there's only a few bands and like obviously this is newer for you so like we can add you to that category from like the hardcore punk world that are like breaking into like this like no, I don't want to say mainstream festival, but like mu a festival that like you're definitely gonna play to people that has never heard of you. You know what I mean? Like it's
Uh,
very like metal based or like I would put like I would throw like Scal into that.
mhm.
Obviously Turnstile, but
Yeah.
like kind of bands like that into there. Is there any shows that you really or sorry festivals that like you really want to play? Like even if it's like Coachella, like whatever. Like is it?
Uh, I mean, it's funny because like kind of going back to the last question that you asked, like what sets us apart. It's like when it comes to like the bigger portion of what hardcore is now, it's
Hmm.
like a lot of the bands that people gravitate towards have like the easily digestible factor that I feel like, and that's not a diss. It's more so like a negative for us because it's like
Yeah.
sometimes like when kids are not exposed to hardcore yet, like they can find this band who's a hardcore band, but they have this thing that's like they're a heavy band, so now they can easily get into it, or like they're a singing band, so like it's easier for them to digest when coming into hardcore. Whereas if you're like not a hardcore fan and you're at a festival, right, and then you see just a straight up New York hardcore band, it's like might not be like what exactly you're used to, or like you
Like
know
what the fuck's happening right
yeah,
now?
like we don't have like not all our songs have parts where it's like here's the breakdown part, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Or like here's the sing along part. It's like,
Yeah.
but and that's not me on some like pretentious shit. It's just the reality of it, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? But there's not really a fest that's like that I'm like as in like a bigger musical fest where I'm like, oh, I'd love to play that because it's just like if we ever get asked, and I don't see why we ever would, it's
Hmm.
like, yeah, sure, I'll play. It'll be fucking absurd, but I'll play.
Yeah.
Like, because like at the core of it, it's like there needs to be some analysis of right of where hardcore is at and where it always will remain and where it makes sense to be. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
so Combust at its roots of a band, right? No matter how much we want to tour and shit like that, like I don't see us translating well for a crowd like Coachella. Like I
Yeah.
don't, but we're living in a different world where, hardcore is as big as it is. So who the fuck knows? You know what I mean? But like it's again, it's not that I would reject it. It's more so I don't see how hardcore translates like the reality of what hardcore is when it's in an environment like that.
Yeah.
And it's not reflecting negatively on it. It's more just the way like it's just exactly how I feel about it. You know what I mean? Again, like I don't see a world in which we would ever get asked to play that kind of fest, but if we do, it would be it would be crazy, but it would be funny at the same time. It's like, yo, a Coachella fan is not gonna know what to do to
Yeah.
a bounce part in a New York hardcore man. Like
There's like five kids like that are like opening up the pit, and then everyone's here like to bob their head to like the disco guy next.
yeah, it's just like it's funny. It's funny. Like
Yeah.
you have to look at it in the grand scheme of things. Like sometimes the reality of it is it's like a little funny. You know what
Hmm.
I
What's this festival that like I'm like newer to this scene relatively. So
mean?
like I haven't been I'm also like a recent graduate. I graduated about a year ago from college.
Okay.
So I haven't been to a ton of different festivals, but obviously like there's some ones that I really want to get a hold of. One that comes to my mind is Outbreak Festival. Is there
Mhm.
any of them? I also love Alexis on Fire, so like
Okay.
them playing Crisis in Full is like fuck. I need to get out there. But is
I
there any
respect
like
it.
festivals that you, or sorry, yeah, festivals that like you like playing at that like you're like this is always a good time?
Um,
I feel like Sound and Fury is probably a good one too.
well, a lot of what's it like last year was the first year that we got asked to play like a lot of the fests that I've been wanting to play in the hardcore world, and like definitely Sound and Fury and Tied Down and FYA the year before, like
Yeah.
100%. I mean, we've only played most of these fests once, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? So, uh, there hasn't been a fest where I'm like I had a bad time. I think like Combust is lucky enough to have like a cool set. I mean, like Tied Down and Sound and Fury were 100%. Like that was like I think Tied Down was one of my favorite Combust sets of all time.
Hmm.
And I'm trying to think. FYA at the time, 2004, where we didn't even have Belly of the Beast out yet. That was also another like really fucking cool moment for us. I think at this point there aren't really like I don't know if there's a fest that we've missed. I'm lucky to say.
Have you guys played
You
Outbreak
guys
yet?
love
Or
Outbreak yet, or? We haven't played Outbreak. I think Outbreak is so big that I don't see a world in which like we play it at this point. Just because
hmm
I don't think we're like on Outbreak's radar, which is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and again, I could just be talking out my ass, but I think they're like going a different direction with Outbreak at this point, which is whatever, cool. Do your thing.
I feel like it's
I think it's like
a
I think
lot
it's
more
a lot more
melodic.
melodic. Well, yeah, it's like I mean the Outbreak Fest that I remember looking at is like different sonically and aesthetically from what it is now. I think they're just like going a different way and like they have bigger acts and hip hop stuff and metal stuff and I mean again that's cool, you know. I'm trying to think of what other I mean like Jag was always cool. We got to play United Blood a couple times and that was awesome. This is hardcore.
hmm
Joe's always fucking gracious with us playing, and it's awesome. Um, yeah.
You guys have a ton of, or you guys have, yeah, you guys have shows coming up, obviously. Is there like a show that you're really looking forward to playing? Or obviously, like, the easy answer is all of them, but is there one that you're like, this bill is like, with the homies or
Damn.
a place you can't really always play kind of deal?
Let me see. Let me tap into the Rolodex of where we're about to. Um, the New Year's show is gonna be in Syracuse is gonna be sick.
I think I'm gonna try to go to that. It's a
Oh
hike
yeah,
from me, but I think I'm gonna try to
yeah,
go.
that's far, but yeah, that show is awesome. I mean, everyone in Syracuse are like good homies, and then there's just like all of our friends' bands playing, like C4 and Burning Lord are playing. So that brings in the Boston homies, and then we're doing the weekend with Crush Your Soul, so that brings in the Hudson Valley homies, and like
Yeah.
just a big homie fest. And then you put on top of it Integrity and All Out War. It's like the show is too crazy. It's gonna be fun as fuck. I think I'm really looking forward to that one.
Do you notice like crowds being different when you're at different cities? Like, are more crowds a little bit more passive? Or I remember you made the call out, which I know pissed off a few people, but I thought it was hilarious. Because I'm not the biggest mosher. I just like I can't see shit without my glasses, and if I lose these puppies,
I'm only
I'm fucked.
someone. What was it? What was it?
It was when it was at Judge and Earth Crisis, and you were like, I know a lot of you guys are old, but get the fuck, or something like that. You're like, get the fuck moving.
Well, I think I said something along the lines of like, I know this is an older crowd who is not here to see us, and that's
Yeah.
okay. But like, it's funny. It's like sometimes shows are like really hard to get kids to move up front,
hmm
and I think that's something that is not new, but I mean, when shows were packed out when I was going to shows, it would all be at the front. And
Yeah.
but shows are packed out now and like no one wants to get to the front. So it's like you gotta really fucking drive it home to just get to the fucking front sometimes. Yeah, I mean I did hear some people in the in the crowd get offended. It's like
I thought it
let's
was
just
funny.
let's look at the facts here. We all know that I mean I knew that 40 to 60% of that crowd didn't give a fuck about who Combust was, and that's cool. But now maybe after the set, they're like, "Oh, it was cool."
Yeah. I would say honestly, like that might have been one of my hardcore shows of the year, if not a top like five. Just until of like even Flip the Switch was cool. Like I didn't even know who they
Oh yeah,
really.
that is a great set.
Yeah, I didn't know who they were, but like now like they're from Lehigh Valley, so like they're like 40 minutes away from me. Like I'm trying to get some stuff worked up with them, and like it's just cool. Like it was very that bill was very eclectic in a sense of the diversity of hardcore that it showcased. It was
Yeah.
like you got Integrity, which like Dwid is like I just talked to Dwid actually on the pod, and
Oh fuck yeah.
it's like a very dark energy kind of going out, but like it's still like the same vibe. And then you got like Earth Crisis, which was like a little bit more like melodic in certain parts, and I don't know. I feel like that tour was like one that I really liked.
Hmm.
Was there a show that kind of like surprised you in a sense of like, wow, like we just got crazy good feedback here, or just in general, like the crowds went insane. Like I feel like Texas gets mentioned a lot for that.
Like on that tour or just in
Just
general?
any. Yeah.
Like something that took me by surprise, you said?
Yeah.
Um, I'm trying to think of a recent memory where I was like, whoa.
I feel like
Uh,
Austin, Texas got mentioned like two or three times for
oh,
for
I
us.
mean, last time we played Texas was fucking awesome for sure. I think they have so many cool bands out now,
Hmm.
and like just the bands that we got to play with for the whole weekend alone was cool enough. Like every band is just coming out with a crazy demo out of Texas right now, so it's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Just trying to think of recent memory where I was like, whoa, that was surprising. Shit.
Sorry, I'm known for asking like weird ass
Oh,
questions
no, you're
randomly.
good. You're good. I'd rather questions you don't hear often. Snow and Flurry Fest was really cool. I wasn't knowing what to expect when we played there, but the set was actually fucking awesome.
What was it?
Snow and Flurry, it's in Minneapolis.
Oh, okay. What kind of like
Yeah.
festivals? I'm actually not familiar with that one.
Yeah, I mean it's just a standard hardcore fest. It was actually part of the dates that we did with Integrity, Madball, and Strife that led up to that
Gotcha.
tour. Yeah.
I'll
Or
leave you.
it's also surprising. Western Canada with Terror.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Western Canada has a really cool scene right now. They're trying to build that up, and it's cool. Shout out.
I'll leave you with one more question.
Yeah,
What's it like having obviously like this is the first year that people are posting like their Spotify and Apple Raps and like I'm seeing so many hardcore bands with like thousands of minutes listened to. What's it like
yeah.
seeing Belly of the Beast getting so much play and all that? Because I saw actually a pretty good amount of posts of Belly of the Beast being like people's number one album streaming in general. Like, would you ever expect it to get
No,
there?
it's which is crazy because it's like that's a lot of time to listen to that record.
Yeah.
Which is, yo, I mean, it makes me feel very, very fucking grateful. It's cool as fuck. Shit, I don't know. It's like when I think about it, when I think about it, I'm like, again, I'm very critical of myself. So when I think about it, I'm like, I don't want, I never want to give myself credit. So it's like,
Yeah.
whoa, you fucking like it that much? It's crazy.
Yeah, fucking
So
weirdo.
yeah, no, but I mean, like seriously, thank you to if I could use this platform
Yeah,
to
do it,
thank
do it, do it.
everyone who's listened to the record. It's like it's awesome to see when I'm like the Spotify rap thing or whatever is like 1.5 million or some crazy shit. I'm like, that's fucking. I never thought more than 100 people would ever care about the band. So it's cool, man.
Yeah, yeah, that must be a crazy feeling. I know like this is my first year doing the podcast. So like this is I'm on like episode like 25-ish and like I hit like 500 plays and I was like, "You fuckers listen to this?" I was like, "This is
Hey,
awesome."
creating shit and seeing feedback about it is it's fucking cool, man. It's rewarding for sure.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Andrew. I really appreciate your time and hopping on for a while. So guys, there's gonna
Yeah,
be
I'm
a ton
glad
of
we
links
did this.
down below. We got Angel Dust tour. I mean, that's one that's probably gonna go crazy. I mean, they're playing, what was it, Williams Center. You're playing Lithuanian Club in Philly. Like those places are gonna go crazy. And then you
Oh,
guys are going down south with Start today and stuff. So I mean, he's gonna be around. And Combust has awesome merch. Great guy. He's always at the merch stand talking and chopping it up with people. So take a look and there'll be some links down below. Till next time, guys. Peace.